today who is supposed to gazette these areas as arid areas. And what that means, Mr. Speaker, is that we cannot retain teachers in rural schools. You will get schools in towns getting overpopulated with teachers, but far-flung schools are not able to retain teachers just because of this hardship allowance. And Mr. Speaker, the wider issue, even as the public petition considers this issue, is to actually clear to the House who is responsible for the gazettement. Secondly, what are the parameters that are used to actually decide that an area is an arid area? Because you will get a county, Mr. Speaker, like Nakuru, not classified as a hardship area, but some areas, like in my constituencies, inside the county are hardship areas. So how do we get this classified? So I hope that the public petition in executing this issue can be able to tell us what are the parameters and how do you ensure that different constituencies in areas that are not ordinarily considered to be hardship areas are also considered, and positively so. That way, Mr. Speaker, we'll have a clear guideline so that the issue doesn't keep coming up as a sporadic issue from each and every constituency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, you can't choose yourself to speak. The member at the back, Julia Sunguli. Jared Okelo, you are out of order.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the member for Nyatike. Knowing the geography of Nyatike, I think of all the places that deserve to be hardship area, Nyatike really needs to be included. I didn't know for what reason, for instance, it's not included. I just want, however, to say, coming from a hardship area myself, to alert the member that there are good sides of being declared a hardship area, and there are also bad sides of it. We in Kilgoris are a hardship area, and we are unable to deal with the teacher crisis, Mr. Speaker, because the neighboring counties of Nyamira and Kisii and so on are not hardship areas, and teachers like to go to hardship areas. So we are trying to get our teachers, local teachers, to come back when we were who had been delocalized. Now they are being relocalized, and we cannot get teachers to go back to their homes because they like being in the hardship area. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge the members that most of the areas surrounding Kilgoris should actually be declared hardship areas so that people could go back to become teachers in their area. So, but Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, I think it is very important that our honorable member be considered. Nyatike is indeed a very hardship area.
Daud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support the petition by Honorable Odege. And Mr. Speaker, we should do it up to the location level, like what the Equalization Fund is doing. Because hardship areas, somebody, if I tell you Meru is, some parts of Meru are hardship areas, they would wonder, Meru does not look like a hardship area. But Mr. Speaker, some locations next to Tharaka, next to Isiolo, like Igembe Central, Igembe South, Tiganyas, and Imentis as well with Tharaka, which is a hardship area. So, Mr. Speaker, there needs to be a policy where hardship areas will be like locations and not complete districts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is that Chepalungu? Member for Chepalungu? Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I rise to support our colleague member of parliament from Nyatike, and equally to echo the sentiments made by Honorable Mother on the same, that we as a country ought to look at the parameters that we are using to qualify a specific region as hardship area. From my constituency, I border Emurua Digir to the south. Emurua Digir is actually gazetted